As a child, what was a weird thing you believed in which wasn't a typical thing like Santa or the Easter Bunny? The candy fairy came the night of Halloween and took a candy tax. My parents would eat some and toss a lot. Same. We called it the Switch Witch and she brought a present to replace the candy. Our parents called it the Great Pumpkin, like from Charlie Brown, that took it and gave us money in return. Then one day we asked my dad if the Great Pumpkin was coming on Halloween again and he was confused and told us it wasn't real and then we cried. When my mom got mad at him he remembered and said that he forgot that's what they called it. The Honey Nut Cheerios B. No word of a lie, I thought he was real. I don't know why. Nobody told me he was real, it was just something I accepted. When my older stepsister told me that Santa and the Tooth Fairy weren't real, I burst into tears and said, the Cheerios be, too? Not a creature but, I thought that small cars grew up into vans and buses were just like the elders of Cars. Writers at Pixar, we gotta make a new Cars movie. I believed that goldfish were individually handcrafted. I thought it was like a line of workers sculpting dough into little fish. I was disappointed when logic kicked in frown. I thought you were talking about live goldfish at first. Took me a second. That playing apartments was a real game. It was my family's way of making me play house, but by myself in my room, while they played in another room, by themselves. Genius. My little cousin was an incessant chatterbox so my mom once played Who Can Stay Quiet the Longest with her. I thought the suggestion would hurt her feelings, but she was young enough that she thought it was actually a game and was excited when she won. Okay, so when I was a kid I was scared of dinosaurs. My dad told me they were extinct. So for a good while I believed any fictional thing that scared me, ghosts, vampires, the Wicked Witch, used to exist but was taken out by a volcano. Don't know if that counts lol. Oh, I am absolutely delighted by this train of thought. Fossilized ghosts. Vampire Neanderthals. Ice Age Wicked Witch complete with zebra stockings. I love it. I assume that grown women's nipples look more like baby bottle tops since that's what they were supposed to be like. And that bras just compressed them back into the boob. Santa Paws. Santa had a magical puppy dog who wore a tiny hat and would drop off treats and toys for your pets. I don't know why my parents gave me this extra detail, but I won't complain. Edit. Some extra details I missed for the parents who want to continue this. Unlike Santa Claus, if a dog or cat, not a human, sees Santa Paws, this won't make their presents disappear. In fact, Santa Paws is very open about playing with other animals. This is why you can hear your dog moving around or even barking some Christmases. Santa Paws doesn't always visit. The child actually has to personally request him to visit on his Christmas list and tell him how many pets they own. Santa Paws is a boy. I don't know for sure what breed he is, but I always envisioned a big Saint Bernard. You need to leave 1 or 2 dog treats with a cookie plate, it's only respectful. Santa often releases messages to parents about how kids need to clean their rooms on Christmas Eve so Santa Paws doesn't get into their stuff. You know when you're driving on a narrow 2-lane road and it curves? Often on one side of the road there are double-sided yellow arrow signs to alert people to follow the curve. Well, as a kid I didn't realize they were two-sided. I always thought it was such a lucky coincidence and that my family was special, because the arrows were always facing the direction we were driving. Oh, believed in the sun monster and the moon monster. The sun monster was nice, but the moon monster would murder you if you went outside at night. The kicker? I made it up to scare my sister. Somehow I started to believe it and freaked myself out. I thought I could fly. I had a weird epiphany at 12 or 13 that I couldn't, and maybe I just imagined me taking off from the parking lot and flying over the apartments I lived in when I was younger. Like I suddenly realized I couldn't fly, even though I knew I had before. The damnedest memory. I still remember it to this day, floating away and flying over my apartments and coming back to land in the same parking lot. I still remember at 12 or 13 when I realized I couldn't fly and feeling like I had lost something. The Catholic Church drank actual blood, and there was a bloodletting ritual in the back of the altar, and the blood of Christ was communal blood tax as your loyalty to God. I was not an okay kid. That if I had the light in the car on, a police car would pull us over, which my dad later told me he just didn't like that on because it's hard to see. That's more typical than you would think. While I thought so too, and I know lots of other people who believed the same thing. We grew up watching old Disney movies and musicals. For the longest time, I genuinely thought people would just randomly start singing and dancing. The fact that this is not so remains one of life's great disappointments. Grew up rather isolated, rarely saw people who were not family. My family, Lord love 'em, can't carry a tune in a bucket. That if you didn't wipe your ass well enough, you had to go to wiping school. I was 4 and my mom told me this. I believed wiping school was a thing until I was 10 or 11. The white monkey. I believe it was a night terror that I had during an afternoon nap. I remember my mom tucking me in for a nap and then waking up because there was an all-white ghoul thing that was peeking out around the door at me and grinning. It didn't come out further, just hid behind the open door so that if my mom passed by my room she wouldn't see it there. My dad loved to tease/joke/torment us, so when I told him about the white monkey he excitedly told me that he had seen it too, so little 6-year-old Berta I was effing terrified for days. In my bedroom, in my closet, was a door that led up to the attic, which was more like a whole house-spanning bedroom. It was carpeted and everything. So I was certain that the white monkey lived up in the attic and would come creeping down out of my attic-closet combo sometime.
Make sure to like and subscribe for more stories. Make sure to like and subscribe for more stories.